All right, we are live. How's it going, people? Oh boy, it's been a hot minute. So first off, I do want to say fuck you, AT2, you piece of shit. But that was pretty funny. But still, fuck you. But yeah, happy 2025, people. Happy 2025. And yeah, 2024 was shit, but hopefully 2025 is better. Eh? Like, eh? Anyway, so yeah, it's been a hot minute. I figured I would come on and shoot the shit randomly, and I'm also gonna invite some people onto the stream if they would like. But yeah, anyway, since 2024 was complete shit, we're going to start this off strong by rambling about absolutely nothing important. So, with that, I'm going to have a nice conversation with you guys in the live chat, and we will go from there. But anyway, I heard a rumor, and I was too lazy to check it out, and I wanted to see if any of you guys knew anything about this. But apparently, after Jeranism got his ass kicked because of the final experiment, rumor has it that he is no longer a flurf. Is that true? Because I find that very hard to believe. Again, I didn't look into it because, quite frankly, fuck giving that guy a view. He will always be a dishonest piece of shit in my book, but somebody told me in one of my comment sections under one of my videos that he's no longer a flurf. Is that true? And if so, what is he now? Like, oh, all right. Is true indeed, yup. Really? Really? I heard the rumor true. He's separating from the flurfs, but he's still a dishonest shit. He left the flat earth community, but also said he will never be a glober. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Again, we've been kicking this guy's ass for damn near 10 years at this point. I think I started debunking his sorry ass back in 2015. We're now in 2025, so yeah, 10 years. It's been 10 years that we've been kicking this dude's ass. The dude has been making a complete ass out of himself for a decade, and he has consistently failed to demonstrate the flat earth. He has consistently failed to debunk the globe. And even during his trip to Antarctica, he said that even though we do have a 24-hour sun, this doesn't disprove flat earth, even though it totally does. So he was already, putting in place the groundwork to not throw out his dipshit flat earth conspiracy. Again, he has consistently failed to prove the flat earth or disprove the globe. He said the 24-hour trip doesn't disprove flat earth, or the 24-hour sun doesn't disprove the flat earth. So, what the fuck? Critical thought is not Jaren's strong suit. Oh boy. Is that the understatement of the fucking century? Because after Jeranism lost that debate against me on the Non Sequitur show, there was no doubt in his mind that he was full of shit. Of course, he'll never admit that. He's always going to be a dishonest piece of shit. He's always going to lie to his audience because that was his grift. That was his moneymaker. You know, he got thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers by being wrong on the internet. In fact, him being wrong on the internet paved the way for him to get an all-expenses-paid trip to fucking Antarctica. So for him to just throw that all away and to be honest for once in his life, I find that very, very hard to believe. But you guys are saying he's no longer a flurf. But I'm also hearing from the live chat that he said he will never be a globie. So what the fuck is he? Is he changing the title from flurf to globe skeptic or some bullshit like that? Some bullshit half measure? Because we all know that the whole globe skeptic thing is a bullshit half measure. We all know this. It's a dishonest position. He will just put out more anti-space related content. So he's going to be like... He's going to be like what? Space is fake, but the Earth is still round? Astronut66 says, I don't think he even knows. That's an interesting view on it. That is interesting. I will give Jism this little bit of charity. At least he was semi-prepared for the Antarctica trip, especially compared to his boyfriend. He's still a moon landing denier. Yeah, we all heard about the SD card fiasco. Debate was in 2019. Original conversation was in 2015, if remembering right. Yes, correct. Originally, he wasn't called Jeranism. Originally, he had a channel called JC Camby, and he showed up to a Google Hangout. And on this Hangout, he was very wishy-washy about his position, and I'm not even sure how the topic came up, but he said something so profoundly stupid that I just had to stop the conversation and be like, whoa, 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 hold the fuck up. Let me just ask you this question. Do you think the Earth is flat? And he paused. He didn't say anything for like 5 seconds or 10 seconds or something like that. And then he was like, yeah. And that's how the argument started. That's literally how all of this shit started. And, you know, before there was the Netflix documentary, before there was this fucking Flat Earth app, there was that conversation. That's what kicked this whole thing into motion. And then he made Jeranism, and then I made Red's Rhetoric, and the rest is, as they say, history. But now he's been at this shit for 10 years. I find it very hard to believe that he would just throw that all away. So what's his new grift gonna be? If not Flat Earth, because, I mean, yeah, he could be a douchebag that says space is fake, despite the fact that he himself filmed the International Space Station transiting the moon. Yeah, before there was an interesting. Yeah, exactly. Is there a recording of that original Hangout surviving? It's somewhere. I do know of that. It is somewhere. Let me check something real quick. I want to see if this dude's channel still exists. Let's see. Alright, let's see if this guy's channel still exists. No, that's not working. Alright, let's change the filters to channels. Last uploaded 6 years ago. Jesus Christ. Alright, let's see. Streamed 10 years ago, 10 years ago, 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 10 years ago, 10 years ago, 10 years ago, 10 years ago. Yeah, this guy's channel still exists. It's just a question of which one of these 6-hour-long hangouts contains the conversation. I'll look through it. I'll see if I can find it, but this is gonna be like finding a needle in a haystack, mainly because every single one of these hangouts is like 5 hours long. And I'm not even sure if it's this particular channel, because he would have hangouts on multiple channels. And yeah, because I see this one, I see another one. I'm not gonna mention whose channel it actually is, because I want to be the one to find it. I'm gonna deny all of you guys the glory of finding it first. I want to try and look for this shit. So I know there's a way that you can like search through subtitles or the automatically generated subtitles through Google or whatever. I'll have to look through that and see if that can help with the search. I also know that Astronomy Live has a program that can essentially look up keywords for you, and I think I'm gonna do that. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, this dude's channel still exists. It just hasn't been active for a long time. And I don't want to be morbid about anything, but I'm wondering if this dude is still among the living. Because if so, maybe I can message him and be like, yo, quick question. Do you remember which hangout this was in, even though it was like 10 years ago? I gotta find that conversation with Jeranism. Anyway, I'll go down memory lane some other time. But what is Jeranism right now? Let's get some opinions out there. So I heard already that he's calling himself a globe skeptic. I'll look into that later. But what do you think he's, or what have you heard him call himself now? Brett Keane. I remember Brett Keane. At least I'm not Brett Keane. I remember Brett Keane. Is Brett Keane still around? Well, let's find out. Of course, every time that dude's name is mentioned, he has a shattering orgasm. Oh, the most recent video about him I'm seeing is 11 months ago. I'll look into that later. Or maybe I won't, because who fucking cares about Brett Keane? My God. But yeah, that's a flashback right there with Brett Keane. He actually copyright struck one of my videos on my old channel, believe it or not. That was funny. Ash. He was never a flat earther. He was just traumatized in high school by kids calling him Globehead because of his extremely round head. He kind of looks like Carl Pilkington? Maybe I have no fucking culture whatsoever. let's see. Carl 10. Oh, yeah, I know this guy. Probably. Kinda, sorta, not really. I mean, I see where you're going with that, Ash. I really do. I do see it, but at the same time, I don't see it. Like, you could make the argument, but I think a better comparison is out there. Jaren can't believe the reaction to him, but he must have known how this community would react. Well, keep in mind that flat earthers are incredibly dishonest, and they will make up they'll make up some crazy shit to explain away things that don't fit their narrative, even if that means throwing one of their own under the bus. We've seen it many times before. So that one tiger douchebag is a prime example. So if we have Jaren saying shit that is actually legit, like the 24-hour sun is a thing, of course he's going to get thrown under the bus for that. Of course he's going to be called a shill, a fraud, that kind of thing. Of course it was going to fucking happen, because flat earthers are dishonest. And you're absolutely right. He should have been aware of that, because he's been playing the game too. He's a dishonest piece of shit. He plays the same fucking game. So he shouldn't be surprised. You know, because when he was making claims of CGI and everything like that, and now these attacks are pointed at him, you should be like, whoa, you guys are pulling CGI claims out of your ass. And I'm like, the fucking irony. The fucking irony. Jaren is just struggling with acceptance at this point. He hated globe Earth and everything related to it for so long that he now has a hard time grasping it. That's only if you want to give him credit, though. That's only if you want to give him credit. I don't think he's struggling with the fact that the Earth is a globe. He has known that the Earth is a globe this entire time. He's not a true flat earther. In reality, almost nobody is. And to give the only amount of credit Jaren will ever get from me, I think he's smart enough to realize that all of his flat earth talking points, I think he's smart enough to realize they're completely wrong. I think he's smart enough to realize that the Earth is a globe. The problem is that Jeranism is a lying sack of shit. So he will say that the Earth is flat, even though he knows it is objectively not. Objectively, it is not a flat Earth. It is a round Earth. He knows this completely. He's gotten his ass kicked on this point so many times in the past, especially from yours truly, that it leads me to believe that this whole, oh my God, maybe the Earth is actually a globe. Maybe it isn't actually flat. I have a hard time believing that is nothing more than an act, because everything else has been an act up to this point. You know, he fakes outrage whenever SpaceX launches a rocket into space and shows the curvature of our beautiful round Earth. He completely shits himself over my ship over the horizon video, and then after I completely fuck him over that, when I rake his ass over the coals with my ship over the horizon video, you know, making a response to his video, he deletes his video to hide the fact that he got his ass kicked in the first place. And he goes, oh shit, this actually makes me look really, really bad. I know I got my ass kicked by Red's rhetoric. I know he debunked my easily debunkable bullshit. So I need to hide this information so I can continue my grift. I don't want my audience seeing how badly Red's rhetoric shoved my own shit up my ass. I don't want them to see that because it is cataclysmic to my grift. Jeranism is not new at this. So I don't think it's a struggle in any way, shape, or form because he knew the earth was round the entire time. You know, he can say otherwise, but remember, he's a lying sack of shit. He has built his presence on YouTube by being a lying sack of shit. And yeah, I've gone back and forth on this many, many times, but at this point, there is no doubt in my mind that he was never a true flat earther. So the only question I have in my mind, after all is said and done, is what's next for him? What's his next grift? What's he going to do now? Because I think the bullshit story has become so fucked for him that he has not enough created. How do I say this? His creativity has limits. His creativity has limits. I don't think he is creative enough to worm his way around what was seen in Antarctica. Exactly, Master. Exactly. Fucking exactly. He denied the ISS, filmed it himself, and still denied it. That right there should illustrate, clearly that he is a lying sack of shit. Because he could film that shit for himself and he'll still lie about the International Space Station. Exactly. Fucking nailed it right there. At Red's Rhetoric, I have a prediction for Jaren's next big step. I mean, maybe. Colloidal silver. See, here's the issue I have with Jaren and this whole thing is that if he's saying that he's no longer a flurf, keep in mind he was never a flurf in the first place. He may have been maybe in 2015, but after he got his ass handed to him the first few times by yours truly, it was clear that it was clear to him at least that he was full of shit. He knew that the earth was round because of the cataclysmic ass kicking that I provided in his direction. He knew that the earth was round. I'm just that damn good at my job. So he knew that the earth was round, but he decided to continue to lie anyway because it was beneficial to him. He made money off of this shit. He was able to get notoriety. People were paying attention to him. He got to speak in public events and, be looked at as a person that people should look up to in some respects, at least when it came to the dipshits in that community. The dude was a dude with momentum. To get rid of that would have been a huge hit to his ego because for the first time ever, he was the center of attention. I think he was craving that for the longest time. So I know that that's not going to change. Throwing away your grift like that is not in his best interest. He has to lie about something. And sure, you can go ahead and say, well, I agree that the earth is round and all that stuff, but space is still fake. But that area is already saturated, and he kind of made his channel, he kind of made his entire identity on YouTube all about flat earth. And without that, even though he wouldn't quite be starting from zero, he would lose a shit ton of support. Because remember, his audience is just a bunch of flat earthers. You will piss the vast majority of your audience if you get rid of the flat earth narrative on your channel. That's just the way it is. He's trying to figure out how to pivot and save face at the same time. Well, saving face would be very, very easy. You can just say that, oh, okay, well, yes, the 24-hour sun exists, but that just means we need to invent a flat earth that makes a 24-hour sun possible. You know, he could have just said that, but I think he fucked himself because, and some people are thinking that he may have done this shit on purpose. But no, I think what happened is he fucked himself in one particular way. I think he may have said this as an accident at first. Now this is just a theory of mine. But he wasn't actually supposed to say that the 24-hour sun doesn't work with the flat Earth. I don't think he was actually supposed to say that. He knew that already. He knew that, but he wasn't supposed to say it. I think it accidentally slipped out. Giggity. I think it accidentally slipped out. Again, giggity. And instead of, you know, retracting that statement, he just said, oh fuck, panicked, and then just decided to run with it. But now that's out there, and you can't take it back, so you gotta roll with it. And that means that the first domino was tipped over, and it was completely by accident. So as time went on and he refused to correct that narrative on his end, he backed himself into a corner when all was said and done after seeing the 24-hour sun, because he knew that the 24-hour sun was a legit thing. He did not believe for a second that the 24-hour sun videos from Antarctica were CGI or fake or just videos at the North Pole. He didn't believe that at all. But because it slipped out, giggity, you know, him saying that the 24-hour sun doesn't work on a flat Earth in Antarctica, he nosedived. Because of that slippage, he nosedived. And he just had to roll with it and try to make shit up as he went along. But because he's not that creative, he's now in this situation where he's probably just going to say that, oh, I'm just a globe skeptic now. Now I'm a skeptic of both flat Earth and the globe. Huh? What about that? Huh? It's like, shit. Hey, Sly Sparkane, how's it going? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite some peeps, bitches, and yes, even the hoes to this conversation. So let me get a quick free chat window open, and I will start inviting some bitches and the hoes to this chat, to this conversation. Let's see. I'm gonna do this on with. Let's see. Okay. Let's put that there. Let's do this. Okay. Add. All right, we have a link up and ready, so I'm going to paste it here. So if you guys want to come on in, be my guest. me also send a link here. And I'll also be sending a link to a few of you bastards. Slice Barcane, I sent you the link directly on Blue Sky, so you can find it there. So if you guys want in, there's the link. Come on in. Since we're just shooting the shit, I really don't care. I think he thought it would be a way for him to drop Flat Earth but retain credibility, but he has been shocked by the lack of faith shown in him by his side. Well, of course. Let's see. Hey, look at you, Slice Barcane. How's it going?
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Take your time.
Been going on all month, man.
Excellent. All right, hang on a second. Let's view some of these bastards. All right, let's get a mic check from everybody.
I'm not here.
Okay. So Sly has officially fucked himself. Evan, what about you?
Hold on. So, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. And
okay. All right. So I was just messing with my audio settings. All right. Yeah, good to talk to you guys. I was just I'm a little bit behind on your live stream, but I was I wasn't really aware that you kind of indirectly created Jaren's channel.
Please don't fucking remind me. Jesus.
No, I do find it hilarious that he's now coming out saying like, "Oh, all these flat earthers are so dishonest and they don't have good research," and when he's been part of that for the last 10 years.
He's been fueling it.
Yep. And hang on one second, guys. I might mispronounce this. Baux.
Hey, comrades.
All right. Yes. So I can hear you. Mic check is good. All right. So Evan, quick question. What's your opinion about the whole Jeranism Antarctica situation?
From the videos that I've watched, it seems like he's at least denying the AE map, but he's still like, oh, but the Earth's measured flat or whatever. So I mean, at least denying the AE map is one step in the right direction.
Okay. So that's, okay. So that's actually, it's not better. Let me be very clear about that. That's not better, but it is better because it means at least he is still sticking with his flat earth grift. He's just now adding or tossing a little bit more ambiguity into the mix.
Right, and he even said like, oh, the sun, the observations that we see in the sky match the globe, but what we see on ground matches flat. So yeah, he's still he doesn't know what he knows.
Is he just gonna speak in riddles for the rest of his fucking life? Because that is how it starts.
That's a rhetoric question.
Yeah, all right, Slice Barcane. What's your opinion of this whole situation? And no, laughing is not an acceptable answer.
Oh, damn. You took away my whole shtick there, man.
Yeah, I took the wind out of your sails with that one.
No, well, you and I have known Jaren just about as long as each other. And, what do you call it? It's, how many times has Jaren turned around and said, oh, well, it turns out that does work on the globe, or that does work with the globe, and all this, you know? I mean, you remember when he said the geometry does work on the globe.
I remember in the debate where he said that he didn't have a model that works. And I'm like, shouldn't that be a fucking hint?
Yeah, or the classic we don't all believe the same thing type shit. Yeah. No, I caught something before they even went to Antarctica, when they were still in Punta Arenas, and what do you call it? That already knew where all of this was going. They were all out there, viewing the due south twilight, and people were talking about it and all this, and they didn't really have anything substantial to say. It was just, they were all talking about some dinner meeting that that they had an argument with Toon or something like that. But it was already extremely clear to them that of what was in store for them, as far as the that they were going to see a 24-hour sun, and this was inescapable. And Jaren kind of mumbled something while they were all just kind of talking over each other, just getting they were actually just getting it sorted out that the streaming worked. And Jaren turned around and says, "Well, even if we see a 24-hour sun, doesn't mean they're not lying to us about everything."
Yeah, I expected that.
And as soon as I heard that, I was just like, "Well, I know where this shit's gonna go." And then what I also found funny about this, and I just got to say this out loud, they were having this whole long, or Witsit was going on this long, rant about the organization that they went down there with, having a privacy agreement and stuff like that. The privacy agreement was for all the people that were in that crew. Not just the final experiment folks. They were just, should I say, passengers on the same boat as many a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
Or in the same plane, excuse me. And so they had that privacy agreement and stuff like that. So he was standing all up on it about, can't film us and stuff like that. Don't want, because what he was saying was they didn't want to be filmed saying, "Oh shit, I see a 24-hour sun" or something like that, and be used against them and all this. Jaren wasn't 5 minutes on that damn ice, and he starts, he said, "Yeah, well, some guy told us that there was going to be, a 24-hour sun and all this," basically stating in the first hour that they weren't going to see it, and somebody was already lying to him. And then he starts filming the guy, right? And then after that, he what do you call it? He says, "Oh, wait, you don't mind that I filmed you, do you?" And the guy says, "As a matter of fact, I don't want to be filmed." And then he turns the camera away, and then he says, "That's one of those guys who told that's one of the guys who told us this." And I'm just like, dude, do you not recognize where you are?
No, they don't. They don't.
It was so hysterical. I mean, nothing more than, hold that line on the grift, man. Jesus. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm ranting now.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Baux, I gotta ask how you pronounce that later. But what's your opinion about this whole situation with the 24-hour sun and Jeranism essentially being a lying sack of shit for the last 10 years?
Look, it's the whole thing smacks of being like the shittest installment of the Karate Kid ever, because basically the sensei's now had everyone come back and do to him what he's been doing to all of science for the last decade.
Yep.
Essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the one that taught them. He taught them how to ask ambiguous questions, how to speculate, how to trip people up on words, how to use confusion, and the whole 2-card trick. Now it's happening to him. He can't handle it. And we're seeing what Witsit's done. Witsit's gone the other way. Now he's trying to regain ground by adding some more incredibly magical properties to a planet to explain what he saw. It's just... Yeah.
So they're taking the Nathan Oakley approach. Basically talking about what is your independent variable to trip people up, because normal individuals don't think in those terms.
Well, at least with Oakley, you got the Earth's measured flat.
Yeah.
But what's your measurements, Nathan? Earth is measured flat.
Or what other people do, which is to define flat Earth into existence by the mere fact that you are using particular words. You must agree with their bullshit.
Level.
It's level.
You can't have a straight line from a tangent line from a circle?
It's a horizontal.
I'm going to say,
Man,
living in the southern hemisphere,
worst. Oh,
living in
good.
the southern
Sorry.
hemisphere, I find this whole thing hysterical. I mean, I've been watching the stars rotate, clockwise for my entire life. I see the sun at the moment. We're now summer down here. I see the sun rise in the southeast. It crosses over to the north and it sets in the southwest.
Oh, that's great because as of right now, it's currently. Let me check.
Well, sorry.
Uh,
That's one of the levels of perspective.
Yeah. So in freedom units, it's currently
Perspective.
15 fucking degrees outside, and so it's cold as fuck. I would love it for it to be summer.
Is that in freedom
Reds,
units?
are you in the Northeast now? Is that right?
Boston.
Okay. Do you know?
Oh, you said that wrong, man.
Do you know which flat earther lives in the Northeast now?
Oh God. Am I close to one of these rejects?
Unfortunately,
Okay, who is it?
Eric Dubay.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, shit. You know who lives up in in the New England region is fucking Dirt. Dave Weiss.
I have to shower now.
And by the way, it's
It's
not Boston. It's Boston.
Yeah, motherfuckers up here, y'all have some weird names. It's like, hey, I'm gonna go to Worcester, and then someone said, oh, you mean Worcester? And I'm like, the fuck did you just say? It's like they'll speak normal proper English for a long time until they get to the word khakis. Now, did I say car keys or did I say khakis? You don't fucking know, do you?
Suck a cack.
It's like it's a mix of New Jersey and somebody that ate a fistful of the gummy candies that get stuck to the roof of your mouth. That's what it sounds like up here.
I have relatives in that area, and they like to explain the accent as somewhere between pudding and an asshole. And
okay. I'm ashamed Dearth is from my home state of Connecticut. Oh, so that's where. So
Yep.
is in that part of New England.
mm,
Yeah. So but I am in Boston, New England area, Massachusetts. Massive two shits. I don't know. I've learned a lot while I was up here. For example, did you know that one of our founding fathers, if you wanted to say, hey, where can I find John Adams, the second president of the United States? I would like to see history. I want to go to his gravesite. I can literally say he's right across the street from the Five Guys and not be lying to you.
well,
Dude is literally buried
real estate's a little
right
bit tight.
across the street from a fucking Five Guys.
Of course.
Like, holy shit. Oh my god. But anyway.
Well, yeah.
So with the whole Jeranism thing, Slice Barcane, I got a question for you. Are you of the opinion that Jeranism was never truly a flat earther, that he was always aware that flat earth was complete horse shit?
I'm gonna say it like this, and I've said this before. Probably around 2015, 2016, he was probably a flat earther. But as he gained popularity, because he is a good talker, you got to give him points on that. He can spin a good yarn.
Yeah,
And
his yarn is made of shit, but yeah.
well, it either way, and that's one of those things that they always talk about court cases is facts don't win court cases, good stories win
Your
court
Honor,
cases.
at the time of the incident, my client was in goblin mode.
Yeah, and but if you look at it, that's where all this comes from. None of this comes from facts. All of it comes from telling a good story in a way that somebody wants to hear it. And I think Jaren realized that the yarn he spun was worth money, and So as a result, that's all that happened. Is he started making money off of it, and off we went. Same thing that happened with Oakley.
Yep.
You know, we all know Oakley's a Poe. What do you call it? Everybody has seen the Skype chat between him and Riley and all this. You know, I mean, I guess once you get to a point, I mean, look at Dave Weiss. Dave Weiss, same thing. You know, he might have bought in on the story at first and all this, but as soon as he started finding out that he could make some serious coin off this, you know, Dave Weiss more than anybody. As soon as he found out that they could make some coin off of this, it just became entertainment to them.
Yeah,
You know, they're
especially the
just
part where they were doxing all of their friends with a non-functioning app.
hmm. But I mean, but as you noticed, nobody cared, and honestly, nobody cared about that even before it, because these people who are all anti-government, you know, and all this other stuff, and yet even before it was made public that his app was leaking people's shit, um, he had a people tracking section of his app. You know, I mean, just conceptualize that first. You know, the fact that he had an app that tracked other people who literally go through life telling everybody that the government's bad and tracking people is bad and all this other stuff, and yet here they are willingly doing it and paying for it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's they do so much stupid shit that you could be forgiven for believing that they do honestly believe this shit, especially with Jaren, because Jaren was friends with Dirt. I don't think they're friends anymore after this trip, but whatever. But you could be forgiven for believing that this shit was legitimate, at least on their end, that they legitimately believed flat Earth. But you are of the same opinion that maybe Jaren believed it at the beginning, but after he got his ass kicked on a repeat basis, it was clear as crystal that the Earth was not flat, that the Earth was round. I mean, the dude filmed the ISS himself.
Yeah, I'll just wind it up with this. That man, Jaren himself, has been handed so much evidence that what he is saying is absolute bullshit. I mean, absolute bullshit. No, it's not even close.
Yep.
And so that leaves only two suggestions as to the person who is Jaren Campanella, and that is either A, you are an absolute grifter, okay, who is in to his credit talented at being a grifter, okay, or B, an absolute objectively proven stupid person.
That was very politely.
Sounds about right.
No, because I'm trying to be compliment. See, I'm trying to give him a compliment by saying, you know, good job on your grift, dude. You know, because I would rather think of him as a clever liar than an absolute moron.
What about you, Baux? What about you? Do you think he honestly believed his own bullshit, or was he just selling it to people?
Look, I think early days, yeah, I'm kind of the thing that he probably had doubts whether he was influenced. He seems like the sort of person that may have been influenced quite easily early on. I think the more that he tested things and the more those tests failed to achieve what he wanted to see, I think the realisation was hitting him. And yeah, I sort of look at it a bit like he's been looking for an out, and TFE could be the out.
Yeah, it's just a damn shame it cost somebody a lot of money for him to have a way out. But, you know, people don't know this, or maybe they do, because, I mean, I haven't hid this. But the reason why I recorded and posted, like, if I remember correctly, over 70 rocket launch videos was because of Jeranism. It was to shut his ass up, because he made a claim in that original hangout, I believe, or maybe it was sometime after. I can't remember. But he made the claim that all rocket launches were fake, that they don't do what NASA or SpaceX says they're doing. And I recorded all this shit, and that led to a whole bunch of other stuff. But Jeranism was given that information for free. Then we measured the altitude, size, and speed of the International Space Station. Jeranism even filmed the International Space Station himself using the Transit Finder website that I informed him of. He got that essentially for free. Yeah, he had to put in a tiny bit of effort, but he still got the information. Then you have Astronomy Live, who was able to track Artemis all the way to the moon and back using parallax and 2 telescopes spaced apart by a great distance. He did it with the iTelescope network. Jeranism got that information for free. And then going back to the distance to the sun, again, myself and Astronomy Live, we personally measured the distance to the sun using, again, our own telescopes. He got that information for free. And then, you know, you have this, you know, the final experiment thing, which, yes, I guess is a cherry on top. At the end of the day, he got all this other shit that he shouldn't have needed, an all expenses paid trip to Antarctica, but he still got that. And all of this shit, a cumulative case to show that he's completely full of shit. And the best we can get out of him is, well, now I'm skeptical on both ends, maybe, kinda, sorta. Like, are you fucking kidding me? A part of me just wants to shove a rocket up the dude's ass and send him into the goddamn stratosphere so he can see it himself. Yeah, he'll suffocate on the way back down, but just before blackout, he'll at least see the curvature of the Earth. At some point, I just asked myself, like, what the fuck? So, this is why I refuse to believe that the dude is literally this stupid. Again, to give him the only amount of credit I will ever give him, I think he's smart enough to realize that the Earth is round, Earth is not flat, and that NASA has been telling the truth when it comes to orbits and going to the moon and shit like that, at least with all their recent stuff. Now, I wasn't there for Apollo. We weren't able to do parallax tracking because we literally weren't alive at the time, but we were here for Artemis. We tracked it to the moon and back. We have these measurements. It's on video. Jeranism can look it up for free. Like,
like I said,
I've always put them into 3 categories. There's basically your grifters. There's your people who want to feel special. They want to be part of a club. And there's the complete mentally disabled.
Yeah, well,
So-
I mentioned that previously. You're absolutely right. I mentioned previously that Jeranism was getting attention with this. This is why I don't believe he actually... His motivation wasn't that he actually believed it. His motivation was that he was getting attention. This dude got invited to speak on stage in front of a bunch of people as if he's somebody.
lied when he was there.
You know, oh, I'm on stage. I get to speak to people as if I am some authority figure. And fuck you, Neil deGrasse Tyson, even though he doesn't know who the fuck I am.
Let's
Is this at like one of the conferences or something?
Yeah.
let's not forget this. It is demonstrably proven that Jaren never does anything that he doesn't get paid to do.
Yeah. And
It is
this trip was
proven.
what, $30,000 for him alone?
Well, plus, I mean, that part being paid for, but, you know, he had, you know, he gets money out of it. Okay. You know, whether it's his revenues on his channel or in any kind of donations that were made before it, he makes money off of it. Jaren will not do anything that does not make him money. And I can only back it up again. I mean, the most glaring example was that Salt and Sea thing. Back when they were doing those Salt and Sea things, and those people from Discovery Channel were out there. Now, everybody who showed up there, Mark Sargent and Skiba and a couple other people, everybody who showed up there, they didn't get paid to be there. They weren't even paid for likeness rights or anything like that to be on the show. Okay, they were basically given the chance to sign a release that they can use the footage of them speaking. And Jaron knew this. Okay, Jaron knew that driving 3 hours from his home, whereas people like Skiba come all the way across the country. He knew he wasn't going to get paid. So what did Jaron do? Jaron decided that he was going to host the whole thing as far as all the private streams, people, talking on Zoom or Meet or whatever they were using at the time, Hangouts or whatever, and all this. He decided he was going to host them all and sucked up all the super chats. Okay, because that was the way that he could get paid for the Salton Sea stuff.
Yep.
Now, all these conferences and stuff like that, they get paid to show up to these things. Okay, these people got paid to show up, and if they didn't get, so and going to, like I said, going to Antarctica, and all this, he received revenues, whether from footage or from live streams, super chats, or donations, to do that. So these fuckers, him, Dearth, all these other people. I mean, hell, even look at Taboo Conspiracy. Taboo Conspiracy puts out these videos that are compilations of other people's shit.
Yeah. So he's doing the what's that bitch's name? A Sniper Wolf, doing the Sniper Wolf grift where, oh, I'm gonna make react videos, or I'm gonna take other people's shit and not add anything to it. And
right. Well, I mean, he just kind of puts them together in these little category groups and stuff like that, as if he's writing new books of the Bible or something.
To the people out there that, unfortunately actually believe this shit, let me speak to you guys directly.
Dear dumb fucks.
We'll start off with that. Y'all are some stupid fucks, but I want you to get your heads out of your ass for just a second while I make this point. Notice who's getting paid and who is paying when it comes to this debate and this conversation.
Hey, let's not.
Let me break that down just for a second. Let me break that down just for a second.
Let me caveat what you're about to break down.
Okay.
Caveat this: every one of you stupid fucking flat earthers who like to talk about NASA budgets and yelling, "Follow the money," listen to what Red's about to tell you.
Yeah. So when it came to, like, for example, the P1000, the Celestron mounts, and everything like that, there was a number of pieces that I acquired that was donated to me, and I thank you all for donating to this effort. But a lot of people donated. However, on top of that, I spent my own money getting supporting hardware so I could film what I filmed, and at the quality that you all wanted. I remember when Dearth was losing his shit for the Artemis launch, and he's like, I want footage from a P1000. It has to be a P1000. Let's blow the lid off this thing. Well,
with the metadata.
Not only, you piece of shit, not only did I get footage of the Artemis launch with a Nikon P1000, but that footage was so fucking perfect that it was featured by Scott Manley.
Right.
It was fucking featured by... I would like to show this awesome shot from Red's Rhetoric. And so, like, it was beautiful. What did I hear from this douchebag? Not a peep. And the thing that made that work was our own money, the generosity of my supporters, and a lot of trial and error with software custom made by Astronomy Live. We put our blood, sweat, and tears and money into this, and I didn't get a fucking peep out of you. When it comes to the new kit that I have, my telescope, yes, I did get some support, and I don't want to diminish this. but I only got like maybe $100-$200 towards the kit that I have now. We're talking about a $3,000 telescope, a $600 astronomy camera, upgrades for my computer that were well over $500. We're talking about a bunch of shit that I spent my own money on to build up the kit needed in order to film the shit that I'm now filming, which is
Yeah, but wait a minute,
satellites in space, International Space Station. My most recent video, my actual like normal upload, showed the International Space Station with such clarity from my new scope that you could see the Dragon spacecraft docked to the front of the fucker. That's how clear of a shot I was able to get. That's because I spent actual money towards this. But you look at people like Jaren and Dirth. They're not willing to do shit unless they're making money. So they don't actually care about seeking the truth and putting their money where their fucking mouth is. They ain't gonna do shit unless they're making money. But for us, it has always been a money negative endeavor because we actually care about the fucking truth and are willing to spend actual money demonstrating it to you fuckers. And so to all the flat earthers out there, I have to ask, what the fuck? Why are you following these motherfuckers who aren't gonna do shit unless they're making bank, as opposed to people like Astronomy Live, who's putting their own money where their mouth is, who is putting their blood, sweat, and tears into their kit to get the best shots possible, and to do it in a way that makes it so that we can get measurements off of this shit. We can get useful data out of this shit. You know,
almost sounds like people who follow Trump.
That are more than just pretty pictures.
I mean, I remember
it's much easier to deny something you see than to produce it. And that's the thing with these flat earthers, is they sit there going, it's fake, it's bullshit, you made it up, you did this. It's like, what have you done in return to refute it or to prove your point positive? And you never ever see positive proof of a flat earth. You never see any positive proof of anything that denies what we see and what we do. It's just rubbish.
Now, I remember when I first started paying attention to flat Earth, which I think was in 2017. So it was like the build up to the total solar eclipse. And I remember I'm from kind of like the same part of the country as Jaren. And from where I was, there was a partial eclipse. And from where Jaren was at the time, there was also a partial eclipse. And I remember I was watching his stream, and he didn't even go outside. He just stayed in his house, and he saw a picture of the sun with a solar filter, so it looked super dark. And he just claimed it didn't look like that. It wasn't that dark. So yeah, that was just an example. Like I don't think he even went outside and looked at the solar eclipse that he could have seen from where he was living.
Mm-hmm. And another aspect of this is that this wasn't the only opportunity Jaren got. When speaking of of participation, if I remember correctly, it was like pulling teeth just to get him to agree to go to Antarctica in the first place. But keep in mind, that wasn't the only opportunity Jaren got. I personally invited Jeranism to join me to see a rocket launch and to get really fucking close to the damn thing. I joined Jaren to help me measure the altitude, size, and speed of the International Space Station so he could see for himself that shit was not CGI.
I offered to do the Eratosthenes redo with Jaren and the Globebusters, and they told me literally fuck off and die.
Yep, and also let me read a comment that I got 8 days ago. This is on the video verifying the altitude of the International Space Station. The channel name is whatever the fuck this is. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to challenge one of you guys to read it. If you guys can go to the internal chat, try to read whatever the fuck that is.
The Arafat Sun Hornwit 6266.
Thank you, because I wasn't gonna read that fucking jump.
I probably butchered it, but
I would say alphabet 6266.
So here's the comment that was left. Quote, You know what, Red's rhetoric? You can prove that... Ah, fuck. I already fucked up. Hang on 1 second. You know what, Red's rhetoric? You can prove the authenticity of this experiment to another level by inviting those semi-famous people to act as inspectors to your experiment to ensure that you didn't fake this experiment by simply adjusting distance between the telescopes as I accuse you of doing. Such as non-believers of the moon landing who came to Joe Rogan's channel, or even Joe Rogan himself, or those flat earthers who show their faces on their own channel. Oh, I see my comment get deleted. Fine, I said I don't care. Delete this one too, but I'm telling you, I know what you are doing, and nothing can convince me otherwise, even the above process.
So build a process and then deny it anyway.
Yep, so I responded, hey, dipshit, you act as if the invitation hasn't been given before. I have invited conspiracy nuts such as yourself to participate in such a measurement. Yet every single time I invite one of you losers to join me, you tuck your tail and fuck right off at the speed of sound. So how about you put your money where your mouth is and be the exception to the expected and oh so common rule? Why don't you offer to join me for one of these measurements and then have the balls to admit you were wrong afterwards? Wouldn't that be a sight? And that response was left 7 days ago, and he hasn't said shit. So I again invited this motherfucker, and yes, it wouldn't be with P1000s because I loaned my P1000 to Big Mike because he's still in Florida and can record rocket launches. So that's nice. But I still have telescopes, and I still have a P900 here, so that's still a flat earther camera of choice. So he could be with the P900, the flat earther camera of choice, and I could be with my telescope, and then we can just compare notes. He's invited, but guess what? After saying that, oh, why don't you do this, and I do that, he doesn't respond. But to be fair, he did warn me that was going to happen anyway, because he said nothing would convince me, even the above process.
Gee, it's almost like they put the end of the book in the beginning.
Yeah, so it's like nothing can't convince me otherwise, even the above process. And I'm like, bro, okay, first of all, here's the thing. Here's the thing with this, okay? Just don't type the comment then. Just don't type the fucking comment.
It's all venting, man.
I'm telling you, I know what you are doing, and nothing can convince me otherwise. Even the above process, or I'm pretty sure can convince me otherwise, or whatever. Even the above process. So he's like, okay, well, get people to inspect you performing this measurement. Make sure you have people looking over your shoulder the entire time. Have them sign off on it, and after they sign off on it, I'm still gonna say it's bullshit.
I don't understand the term nothing can convince me. I've never understood that term, especially why somebody would actually bring that forth in a conversation. And the reason why is because if nothing can convince you, then how did you get convinced?
Yeah,
and
I think what he's saying is I'm so set in my ways that I'm not willing to adjust.
But you see, that's what I'm saying. A person who is like that, how did they become what they are now?
Think of it as a rat shit. You know, you can click one way but not go back. That's basically, it's the ultimate case of intellectual dishonesty. And
But that's flooded through the whole community. I mean, you look at, let's go Phuket World, Brian's Logic, all these pages which use that same thing, which is they go, oh, this is the way the world looks because the globe's bullshit. And you go, well, this is how it works on the globe. And they go, no, but your presupposition is it's a globe, and so it can't work. And it's like, well, no, you take something and you look at it and go, does it work on a flat surface? Does it work on a globe? It works on a globe, yes. It doesn't work on the flat surface. So they go, no, your presupposition is it's a globe. It works on a flat surface.
Presupposition, Greg.
Exactly. But
frustrating as fuck.
But going back to the original point, though, is that, not only have we demonstrated what we wanted to demonstrate, but we did so because we put our own money on the line for this. We weren't afraid of actually investigating these things, but these motherfuckers aren't willing to lift a finger unless they're getting an all-expenses-paid trip to participate in something, or if they're guaranteed to make bank on this. Now, when it comes to Dearth, he's definitely a fucking grifter. So no shit, he's not going to participate in these things. He's going to claim that he wants to participate. I want to see the truth and everything. Hey, I'm inviting you to Antarctica, all expenses paid. LOL, no. And I can be like, hey, I'm going to measure the altitude, size, and speed of the International Space Station to demonstrate it's traveling at orbital velocity and is the size that NASA says it is. You want to join? LOL, no. Well, so much for the fucking truth then. Am I going to make money off of this? Am I going to be able to protect my grift off of this? So, to the other flat earthers out there that I was originally addressing, do you see the fucking problem here? You're following fuckheads that just want your money, that do not give a flying fuck about the truth. The truth is literally detrimental to their pocketbook.
Say it isn't so.
Say it isn't so. And,
well...
and that's why that one asshole didn't bother responding. Of course he didn't. Of course he didn't want to respond. Because by responding, he would have to acknowledge or at least try to object to him being invited. You can prove the authenticity by having other people there. Okay, do you want to be the other person? You want to show the fuck up? Like, come on, let's do this shit. Let's do this shit right now. I am personally inviting you. Do you want the P900 or do you want the fucking telescope? I will teach you how to use this shit. You can record it, you can capture the footage, and then we will compare notes. We'll set this up and we will make sure that you are involved in the entire process. But, it does involve math, and that tends to scare them away fairly quickly. Because, it is...
Oh, don't come into Flat Earther with
hang
math.
on.
Not the method magic. You can't do the method magic.
Hang on. I'm gonna get in the mood here for a second. It's basic trigonometry.
Who was the guy that kept saying that math wasn't reality?
Yeah, that was
every single flat earth.
Every flat earth ever.
Yeah, they say they tried to get me by saying this is the guy that says math is reality, and I go, yes, I did say that, but you forgot the second part of that. I clarified math is reality when you do math properly. When you do the math properly, the numbers reflect reality every single time. Fuck you for thinking otherwise.
I'm going to call up my power company and tell them that math isn't reality.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see how that fucking turns out.
See how far that goes.
Be like, listen, I was...
Oh, no, not that math. Yeah.
I was trying to fill my swimming pool. What do you mean I have to pay for this many gallons? Did you know math isn't reality? I shouldn't have to pay for anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying that on my tax return.
Yeah, see how that fucking works.
And how come gallons aren't the same in every bottle, huh?
Mm-hmm. It's
must
like,
be all fake.
it's the tax man comes over. So we heard that you think math isn't reality. Boy, do we have news for you.
Well, then I'm about to get super pseudo reality on your ass.
Yeah, exactly. And there was another one on my Falcon Heavy video, and he said something. I'm trying to find the comment right now, but I can't seem to locate it. But it said something along the lines of, well, this is clearly fake because the sonic booms were delayed from the point of you actually seeing it, and it didn't look like you were that far away. And I'm like, motherfucker, I was zoomed in
Yeah.
with a P1000. You know, that thing has a, you know, potential focal length of 3,000 millimeters. Like, that's punched in. I was miles away from where it landed. And then I asked
Well,
him,
it is the only camera in existence that can bring ships back over the horizon, so it has got a big zoom.
yeah, well,
Wait, are they
I also,
still claiming that the P900, P1000 can bring things back into view?
yeah, it's like what I responded with is, you could have gone there and seen it yourself. Again, I'm trying to find this comment, but I can't seem to locate it. But I said something along those lines. You could have gone there yourself. You could have seen it yourself. And he just responded with, no, you couldn't. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Did you know I wasn't the only guy there looking at this shit?
No, but Reds, you were the dude in the Dr. Zhivago movie. You know, the one who was actually riding on the outside of the rocket. Didn't you feel and film everything?
Yeah. See, and here's another thing. Let me just highlight this. 82 Productions. Math is descriptive of reality. It's not literally reality itself. And again, splitting hairs there. You know, descriptive of reality. Basically, if you do math properly, it will represent, it will correctly predict what happens in reality, what is the case in reality.
No,
Therefore,
I mean, the way he put it is correct.
Math is reality so long as you do math properly, because it literally is. If I am going 100 miles per hour and I can calculate distance over time and do all this fancy mathematical equations, I'm getting a speeding ticket if I get, you know, caught by a cop. I'm getting a speeding ticket. That is reality. The reality is I was legitimately going that fast and I'm getting a speeding ticket. And this cop is looking at me like, bro, you drive a Honda Civic. Shut the fuck up.
Well, on top of that, you couldn't have been actually caught driving against the speed limit because of the mere fact that would either have to be a calculation or it would depend on there actually being a speed of light.
So with all things being said here, getting back to this comment that I was referencing, if we were to invite these flat earthers out, they're just going to tell us to go fuck ourselves. What about flat earthers that know Falcon Heavy is real? I'm talking about the comment. Okay, I'm pretty sure everyone knows that the Falcon Heavy is real. Well, at least people that don't have their heads up their ass.
Well,
but I'm talking.
It's a real balloon.
Yeah, but exactly.
Don't they just say
people,
that it goes off into the Atlantic and then just like crashes somewhere?
It's real CGI, man.
I've heard a lot of crazy shit from flat earthers. Again, everyone knows that the Falcon Heavy is real when you're talking about people that don't have their heads up their ass. But when it comes to flat earthers, I've heard some crazy shit. I've heard people say that the Falcon Heavy boosters that land are literally replaced mid-flight by a high-altitude plane, and it's dumped out of the cargo hold.
But of course.
Yeah, but except that I recorded an unbroken shot from launch to landing. Like, fuck. And by the way, to get that shot was a pain in the ass. I don't think people realize just how awful that was.
It was a pretty fucking awesome shot, though, dude.
It was. But keep in mind, let me just explain this, because, you know, humble brag, that's not so humble. I had to have the hands of a fucking surgeon to keep that damn thing in the frame, and I had sweat dripping into my eyes. It was burning, and I had to remain perfectly calm, stay calm.
It's not that easy to remain that still in Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
And the question that really has to be asked, I mean, because, yeah, I'd love to see a Falcon Heavy takeoff, is how the hell were you that steady and having the wank of the century at the same time?
Oh, dude. It was incredibly difficult, but it does help if you have a third hand.
Yeah. Third hands are a myth, man.
It does help if you have a third hand. And I just want to say, Slice Barcane, thank you so much for your help.
Yeah. Well, I made a couple calls, so I know people.
Exactly. How did you pan 9 miles though? Let me tell you, there was some quantum physics involved with that shit.
Well, me as a legal resident of Boca Raton, Florida, the I've probably seen more rocket launches than you have.
Probably.
Um, but not necessarily from going to them to witness the show, should I say?
I
Um,
was.
most of the times in Boca, given the oftentimes southern southward trajectory of the some of the rockets and other ones that are just simply a nice clear day. Um, I've seen all the way up until the mid 90s. I've seen probably almost every shuttle launch from a distance, from an incredible distance, um, and various other rockets that aren't as big in the papers. And that was uh, that was one thing that I used to love about living in Florida was just all I had to do was oh, there's a rocket launch, look north, and you just look north and you see this little piercing glowing dot going up with smoke behind it. You can't do that and fake it,
Nope. And
and that.
especially when you're less than or around 2 miles from the action, which I had the privilege of participating
Well,
in.
I was actually at the first shuttle launch, the white tank launch, and
And yes,
when
guys, I do want to say I have participated in those Field of Heat events and these other events where you get to go really, really close to the landing zone. It's fucking awesome. Totally something people should do at least once in their lives. Sorry, Sly.
well,
Continue.
shit. I did that one damn test with that moon observation test with Astronomy Live, and and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I got this idea. Thinking I was all slick, I was like, yeah, I got this tall building here inside of K Town, so I don't have to go very far, and all this other stuff to get my vertical reference and all this other stuff. And Astronomy Live turns around, he's like, well, I'm just gonna go over to the Space Center, and I was like, fuck you, you know. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go over to the Space Center and use one of the rockets there as my vertical reference, and I was like, man, I was like, that's so not fair.
Yep. But although I am kind of disappointed that I am going to miss the launch of New Glenn. For people who aren't aware, this is going to be there's going to be two firsts for New Glenn. This is the first ever orbital launch of a Blue Origin rocket.
Cool.
And it is the first launch of a Blue Origin rocket that does not look like a penis.
Is Blue Origin the Jeff Bezos one?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah, it's
Jeff
the
Bezos
Bezos
one.
stuff,
So
yeah.
basically, what happened was he had a conversation with some of his pals about world hunger and housing the homeless, and then said, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna make a rocket company because fuck Elon." And Blue Origin was born.
You know
That's
what?
the origin story, at least I choose to believe.
I love the argument of NASA or any other company um, being somehow counterproductive to the world's problems. Um, I love that argument because I am a personal advocate of the fact that we need to turn up things like space flight, space travel, and all this other stuff because that is that it's an industry that barely exists. Okay, and don't get me wrong, there are hundreds of thousands of people who are involved in the making or the total completion of a rocket launch. I understand that, but if you think about us, having routine trips to the moon or routine trips even to Mars, or something like that, the entire industry that would be built around that would be larger than the automotive industry and employ I would even go so far as to say millions of people around the world. Because we would at that point we wouldn't be the only ones doing it. Right now, all we're doing is shooting rockets up into orbit and taking pictures of shit. The
I'm just gonna butt in here and say, listen, I'm happy for SpaceX and New Glenn and stuff like that.
mhm.
Uh, I'm but still the CEOs are dicks. I'm happy about it,
Oh yeah,
but
I
they're
have
still
I have
dicks.
nothing for Bezos or Musk.
Yeah, I'm saying
I
they're still assholes.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I have high hopes for New Glenn. It is a massive vehicle, by the way. So good luck to them, and I wish all of them the best,
Oh, of course.
especially given what's happening with Starship. I wish them the best as well. Sorry that your CEO is a bit of a dick, but
Just fucking wacko.
best of luck to the rest of you.
Yeah.
But moving on, I do want to say, effed up Reds, give us your percentage of success for New Glenn. New Glenn has some competent engineers behind it, so I'm gonna give it, very high success. I'll say around 90%. Anything could go wrong, anything could happen, but I'm gonna say 90%. Now, if it's a Falcon 9, for example, just to give it some comparison, yeah, 99.9%. When you had the first launch of Vulcan from ULA, I was going to give that also 99%. Even though it was the first launch of Vulcan, ULA has really competent engineers. They know what the fuck they're doing. So yeah, Blue Origin, it's unproven. They've never gone orbital essentially with their own vehicle. They do supply the engines to ULA for Vulcan, and those engines have proven themselves to work. So engine-wise, I would say they have a 99.9% chance of success, but it's everything else that has to work flawlessly. You could have the best engines in the world, but if the rest of your vehicle is made of toilet paper and chewing gum, you're not going to have a very, very, very good time. You're going to have a shitty time. So we'll wait and see. But I'm gonna give it 90% success chances. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But
We'll
yes.
see.
So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm eventually going to have to resend the link because I refuse to pay for Google. I would rather just start from scratch than give Google any of my money. Google, listen, I am the product, motherfucker. You are already stealing all of my information. I got a notification on my phone, by the way, that said, oh, let's see where you've been over the last 5 years. And it tracked every inch of my travels throughout the entirety of the United States and Canada. What the fuck?
Did you give a rating on someplace you visited?
Once, and it
Yep.
and
That's that is in the that is actually in the terms of service.
yeah, the
Once
EULA that no one reads.
once
What
you
does
give a rating, once
what
you give a
does
rating on a
Louis
certain place,
Rossman?
hold on. Once you give a rating on anything via Google Maps, you consent at that moment to using your location data.
Yep, and Louis Rossman
All of
has
it.
yeah, Louis Rossman has a word for that. It's called EULA roofing.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it is. But
But yeah, it was. But here's the thing: the thing that I looked at was only 2 years ago. But it tracked like my every move over the last 5 years, and I was like, shit. But anyway, back to the point.
no, I always
Google,
get
I
those little
am the
notifications.
product.
Yeah,
Google,
I
I
always
am
get
the
those.
product. I shouldn't have to pay you for more shit. I already make you so much fucking money. I was just mentioning something out into the ether, and there was an advertisement for it on my phone. That's not creepy. That
Not
is
at all.
extremely creepy.
I've turned off location stuff on my phone. I only turn it on if I have to use Uber or something like that.
Don't
But
worry.
yeah,
On my
It
next
can work to
phone.
your advantage, though. I like to pick up my wife's mobile phone and just talk about power tools and fishing gear.
I on my next phone there is a way for me to de-Google my phone, and I will be looking into that. But in the meantime, I am going to absolutely traumatize the FBI agent that's listening in on my conversations. It's
Man,
my goal to make sure that they need therapy afterwards. Like, oh, you're
I am
listening in
so
on Red's
beyond all
Rhetoric's
that.
conversation, then the guy just looks at him, he's sweating, his eyes are open while like, bro, I can't do this shit anymore.
I am so beyond all that. To me, that's pretty much the equivalent of putting on a hat in a rainstorm. The the little bit of corrections that you and I might make and stuff like that, versus the wealth of data that we've already put out into the world. I mean, it's literally, oh, I'm gonna stick it to them. I'm gonna turn this off and I'm gonna turn it, dude. Like that matters. And on top of that, it's pretty arrogant to think that any of us matter in
Yeah.
that bigger
Oh,
picture.
I know I don't. I'm a fucking nobody. But speaking of that, let me go ahead and say this. So this call is gonna end. So let me go ahead and shut this down. I'm gonna post a new link in the live chat. If y'all want to come back, just click that link. I'll let you back in.
Sure, why
So
not? It's 5 in the morning. Why not?
so yeah, exactly. Because Eastern time zone is best time zone. All right, guys. New link coming in momentarily. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and get that new link up because that's how we do shit. All right, how the fuck do we do this again? Can I like not make a fucking call anymore? Oh man. Just go to one of these other ones. There we go. All right, here's the new link. Boom. All right, new link has been set. Room is good. Welcome back, Evan.
Oh, hey, Reds, I wanted to ask. I think the first ever video of yours that I watched, I don't know what year it was from. Must have been like 2015 or 2016. 'Cause I watched it in 2017, and it was a video of you basically criticizing like all of Jaren's observations. But I think I went back looking for it the other day, but you must have taken it down.
Yeah.
Jared, take something down? Never.
Never. Yeah, I have a policy, and some people hate the policy, but I stick to it. The policy is that if you make a video that sucks and I respond to it, and you take down your video because you realize just how much of a fucking idiot you were, then I will take down my video. There's no point in me debunking a video that's no longer up. Jeranism.
Well,
Yeah, Jeranism made a video about my ship over the horizon video. He tried to debunk it. I made a video response showing that he was a fucking dumbass, and he took down his video as a result. Because he took down his video, I then took down my video because the misinformation was removed. My video did its job, and so I had no reason to keep it up. But do you remember what the video was about? Was it about the ship over the horizon video, or was it about a different subject?
Yeah, I think that there was like you're making like 3 or 4 different rebuttals, and the ship over the horizon was definitely one of them.
Okay, so it wasn't just about the ship over the horizon video.
Right. I think there was. Well, I think that was like that may have been the main observation. I mean, it's been years since the last time I watched it, but it was just because of all this stuff that's been going on recently, like popped back into my head.
All right. Yeah, I understand. Okay, so, but I did interrupt you. I do apologize for that. So, but yeah, what about that video?
Oh no, I just wanted to ask if you had taken it down. You said you'd taken it down.
Yeah, I have some videos that I keep up and some videos that I do take down, but it all depends on what the other person does. So, for example, Jeranism made a video about his quote unquote scaling invariance about the distance to the sun. I made a rebuttal to that, and he responded by taking down his video because he realized that he was completely full of shit. And
Reds has a complication with keeping things up.
yes, although the doctor said that there are treatments for it, just so that we're clear.
I did also notice that none of Jaren's videos from like before 2021 are still on his channel. So
Yeah.
Oh no, we all know why that is.
Yeah, we do. But you know, Jeranism made a video about my ship over the horizon. I made a response. He took down his video. Jeranism made a video about the distance to the sun. I made a response. He took down his video. And so, per my policy, I took down my videos because they did their job. They got the misinformation off of YouTube. So I was like, yay, job done. This doesn't need to stay up anymore. I do it to remove as much clutter as possible from my channel, and people are like, it's not color, it's art. And I was like, no, it's clutter. In my mind, it's clutter. But again, they're like, no, it's not clutter, it's art. I'm telling you, keep that shit up. I don't want to spike the football, so I just take it down. It did its job. No reason to keep it up. It's done. So that's my policy. Some people hate it, but whatever.
No, Jaren got rid of all of his shit because it was part two to what he had done before in 2019 when he took down all of his videos. Any video that was discussing the canal test that was in the Netflix thing, he took all of that shit down. And what do you call it? After, because he left it up originally because the documentary was supposedly not yet funded. It wasn't sure if it was actually going to get published and all this, so he left all of his stuff up. But the very moment that documentary came out, he deleted all that shit. And what do you call it? So he can come back with the very predictable narrative of they were hiding stuff. Right. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. And so that was pretty much the main reason why he got rid of all of his shit.
Yep.
And he got rid of it not just on his channel. He got rid of it across at least 3 channels, which was his Jeranism channel, the Jeranism Raw channel, and what do you call it? And Globebusters. And I think he had Bob take it down off the Seventh Day Truth thing, whatever.
Yeah,
and,
but I also want to make clear that the video that I was responding, the video that I was responding to, it was like within 3 or 4 days, maybe even a week of my video going up, that he took his video down. And then later on, he did more of a mass deletion. So I can say with confidence that the reason why he took down the videos that I was referencing was because I responded to them.
Oh, of course.
Right.
Yeah, he.
They always treated their responses to me as more like part of what they have to produce, part of the grift. They have to show that they're sticking it to somebody, and since they seem to be, they were primarily most scared of Red's mouth. To be fair. Because Reds in this forum, I would have to say that Reds is probably one of the best debaters. But they always needed to. They had to keep their stuff up that they would say about me because of the fact that they know that I brought the work, and they were, especially Jaren and Bob, were quite afraid of me, given the correspondence that I've had with them, and because they didn't, they knew that if they didn't say something, then I was right.
Yeah, let's
so
see.
They would have to say something to they would have to say something and keep that up so they could reference it as, no, we stuck it, we answered him.
I got a text from 82 because apparently this was just so important. So he says, got a better question for you and the panel when they get back on. Do you think Musk and Bezos had a side bet for who can make the most phallic-shaped vehicle and get away with it? I think Bezos looked at or saw the movie Austin Powers and was like,
Because we already know why. I mean, Musk has made it very clear that he's a movie fan, and that actually influences some of his designs.
Yeah, I mean, he called his launch mode or fast mode on his Tesla Model S the Plaid because they've gone the Plaid from Spaceballs.
For Spaceballs, yeah.
So,
and then what do you call it? He put a point on the top of Starship because of the movie The Dictator.
It's too round on the top. It needs to be pointy.
Pointy, yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
I mean, he's literally said these things.
Yep.
So I mean, it's not even an opinion.
Yeah, he said it on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, so it's I would say that I'm not sure. Well, I haven't really seen, at the end of the day, man, a rocket is a fucking shaft with a head on it. I mean, come on, I mean, sooner or later you're gonna make that comparison no matter what anybody says. So
let's see. All right, yeah, okay. I will respond to that later. Okay, so, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. It's basically a giant shaft with a head on it, and that's why it's like when I make videos about Blue Origin and how Dearth could literally pay for a ride on it, I say buy a ticket to that suborbital cock rocket.
Mm-hmm.
I always, I don't hide these things. It's like, oh, you must like these penises, and I go, yeah, and I want you to ride it.
No. I love how they think that's gonna turn into some kind of gotcha.
Yeah, it's gonna turn into some kind. I'm like, have you fucking met me?
Yeah, and plus, how insecure do you think I really am that I would be nervous about talking about something being the shape of a dick? I mean, come on.
I remember where it was like, oh my god, it's like sounds like you're gay, or who was it? I think it was fuck, I don't even remember his name.
Oh, every guy who comes on to me on Twitter and stuff like that says, "Oh man, you're gay," and I said, "Yeah," and I still won't date you.
what was one person asked after they were conversing with me and I was debunking all of their shit, they didn't actually respond with anything legitimate. Well, ISS.
Oh, say it ain't so.
Yeah, so they were talking about International Space Station and how to measure its altitude and how would we repeat this observation, blah blah blah. And after I answered all of their questions, they responded
while we're still moving through space in 3 different directions at 3 different speeds.
Yeah, and after I answered all of their questions, they responded with, "Do you wear women's clothes?" And I said yes, and I fucked your dad.
And then I loaned them to Dubai.
I mean, why do you think we have this joke that basic trigonometry is sexy? Like, have you fucking met me, dude? We don't just go in on the joke. We make it a fucking hashtag.
No doubt. I mean, it's these fuckers are all so goddamn stupid. Oh my god.
It's like, oh, how many days can Reds go without saying something gay? And I go, I'm gonna make sure that shit stays at 0.
Yeah, right.
You just gave me a sport.
Yeah, right. I mean, challenge accepted.
Careful what you wish for.
Mm.
I remember when someone was like, oh yeah, well, Reds is always watching, and I was like, well, hang on, let's not jump to conclusions here, okay? We have to ask ourselves. So, Evans, quick question for you. Do you like it when I watch? And I just put people on the spot like that. Don't think you're getting away, Evan. Do you like it?
Yeah, but watching and participating are 2 different things, though. So
It's like
Keep your ass on the chair.
it's like they're going. It's like all they're
What's up,
hearing.
Wally?
All they're hearing is me eating bugles, and they're like, it's kind of distracting. I go, I didn't tell you to stop.
Yeah. Let's see, Wally and Jared. What's going on? Seeing all these people, and I just started looking at the chat.
Yeah, with but getting back to Jared, one person asked me, am I going to have a future conversation with Jeranism? I honestly would like to have another conversation with Jeranism, just because it would be a dumpster fire. But I would love to have a conversation with Jeranism. But I don't think he's brave enough to have a conversation with me. That's the thing. You know, if Jeranism were to show up in my comment section and be like, yo, let's have a conversation, I would be like, bet, what time? You know, he wouldn't have to try all that hard. But for me to have a conversation, for me to initiate the conversation, that's the difficult bit, because I kind of have a reputation of being the best flat earth debunker. And they don't like that fact, and if they try to spin some bullshit in my direction, they know I have the capability of debunking them, like, right then and there. They don't like that. It's detrimental to their grift, so they just don't talk to me, which is why it's always been a challenge to get flat earthers on this channel. The only flat earthers that I'm able to get on this channel are the very few flat earthers that haven't heard of me before, like that one God's humble warrior or soldier or whatever the fuck he's calling himself.
Oh, you had him on?
Yeah, I had him on. He's
Mr. So you do hate NASA.
I made a YouTube short off of a part of our conversation where he said, and this is true, you can actually go on my channel and see this short. I've only posted like 4 shorts. So it's one of them. It's titled.
Yeah, the rest are dirty.
Yeah, exactly. Flat Earther debunks Kepler's third law. That's the name of it. That's the title. And he said, or I asked him, all I'm looking for is, where is the deception in the math? Just point to that deception and we'll be good. And he said, and I shit you not, the deception is that the math matches what we can see, and it's still deception.
That's a Jaren answer.
He literally said
a Jaren
that.
Answer.
I shit you not, guys. He literally said that. In fact, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna play it real quick. Sly and Evan, you're not going to hear it in the Google call, but y'all are going to hear it out there in the live chat and on stream. So just listen to this shit real quick. This is fucking hilarious. Just listen to this.
What Red is saying about Kepler. I'm trying to address what Red is saying about Kepler.
Yeah, I just all I want to know is, where is the deception in the math? That's it. Just point to that deception and we'll be good.
The deception is that the math matches what we can see, and it is still deception.
That is an amazing soundbite. Thank you. That is amazing. That is absolutely fucking amazing. Told you guys. He literally said that shit. The deception is that the math matches what we can see.
Well, I had when I I'm on the I had on when I was challenging Globebusters to do the Eratosthenes thing with me and their followers. Jaren came back, says, we already know how that's going to work out. The math is going to work. And I actually mixed that up. I have a video out there called Jaren versus Jeranism, and or Jaren can't Jeranism, and because there was a similar discussion that he had with I think it was Jesse with Kozlowski, and or Kowalski, however you say his last name, and where he was talking about you know, everything needs to be tested again. Everything needs to be tested again. There's no such thing as established science, and there's no such thing as, things that can't be redone and stuff like that. But then at the same time, he's telling me that we don't need to redo it because we know what the answer is. I invite anybody listening to this on my channel. It's called Jaron Can't Jeranism, and it's literally, and I mixed his responses to me in one video to his, should I say, accusations in the other video, and they literally match up as if he's just 100% purely contradicting himself.
Yep.
But they are in the order that he said them. So it was so hysterical. And so you get these flat earthers who say, oh, well, don't come to me with math because that's globe math.
That's globe math. I love it. I fucking love that shit.
And it's just like, there's no such thing as globe math, you dumb fuck.
There's just math.
There's just math.
Yeah.
It's like
but you go into it with presuppositions. Yeah, it's called a hypothesis. Fuck off.
It's us. I mean, fuck. It's when I say there's not globe math, there's not flat earther math, there's just math, and that's why I make jokes about it, and then I say basic trigonometry.
Yeah,
every time I say it, I get all hot and bothered.
That's that fucker. What's his name? Globe Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. The sun goes under flat Earth.
Who was it Awake Souls that originally gave us Pac-Man Sun?
I don't know who started the Pac-Man Earth.
I think it was Awake Souls because every time he would show up, we would always go waka 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 waka.
I remember there was a guy named, I think his name was Darren Nesbitt. I think he was a British guy. I remember he showed the Pac-Man model probably back in like 2017 or 2018. And I was like, at least if, to me, at least it's still wrong, but at least it was something that was not as stupid as the AE map.
I mean, it was creative. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. The Pac-Man model was stupider than the AE model. The AE model, I will say this: the AE model has two correct observations. It actually does, and I've said this before. The two correct observations on the AE map is the track of the 24-hour sun from the North Pole.
Yes.
Because that's where it's oriented. And the second thing that it gets right is north and south. In other words, physical land masses that are north and south of each other.
Yeah.
That's it. And
directly north and south, by the way.
Right.
Everything else gets fucked.
Because if you remember, I had to point this out a long time ago during a Dr. Zach video when he was talking about solar noons. And he was like, solar noons prove the Earth is flat because, look, it works on the AE model. Or, well, it works on the flat Earth model, as he put it. And I was like, yeah, because the AE map is oriented north-south. It is made for north-south to work from the North Pole. I mean, it's just that simple.
Is Dr. Zach still around?
I think he fell off into oblivion after I busted him in the probably biggest lie in flat Earth history about those laser tests in Lake Balaton, and
so he's been kind of missing in action.
Well, tell you what, I will look him up. Hold on one second here.
Yeah. And also, let me answer this question because one person was asking when I'm going to be...
His channel's still there.
Well, one was his most recent upload.
That's what I'm looking for. Yep, his last upload was the video that destroyed any credibility of FE Core.
FE
which
Core.
was the laser video.
Yeah, that's years ago. So let me answer this question real quick. When I am going to be posting more content, like, hey, Reds, when are you going to be posting more content? Well, here's the thing. I have a problem with with posting content, and that's I put too much effort into it. I don't like
Touche.
for live streams. It's shoot the shit. No one really cares. But to post like actual standalone videos, I like to put some effort into them, and there's a few uploads I have where I rushed them through, and I didn't like the final result. One video that I was not very happy with was checking the math, the checking the math video about the measuring the altitude of the International Space Station, because one flat earther found a supposed problem, and then I had to explain that wasn't a problem at all. The video is very informative and all the numbers are correct, but it's just, in my opinion, not a well put together video because it was a rushed project. I don't like doing that because I end up hating my own work. For something like the Distance to the Sun video, we put our heart and soul into that, and so I'm very happy with that video because that video, for that video, we took our time, we made sure that the editing was perfect, that the numbers were perfect, that the script was perfect. We made sure that everything was as perfect as we could make it. So for videos like that, I'm very happy with them. But the problem is that they take time. And the one thing I haven't had a lot of is time. I have been very busy, like really, really busy. I think
Nobody wants to hear your sob story.
This has been as busy as my life has been over the last few years, and I just don't have the time to make, content, standalone videos anymore. I just don't. I do have plans for 2025, so there will be more videos. But to answer your question, that's the reason why. Is because I like to put some effort into my videos. I like taking pride in my work, and I just haven't been able to give it the time that it rightfully deserves. So once I find more time, then I will dedicate that time to producing good standalone content, because there is a lot to talk about, but I just haven't had the time. So hopefully that answers your question. But Slice Barcane, I do have a question for you.
Sure.
So with Jeranism and this whole 24-hour sun thing going on, what is next? What is next for Jeranism, in your opinion? What's he gonna do from here after the 24-hour sun thing?
I would say he's probably going to latch on to either the lunar hoax or anything having to do with the number 34 budget item of the U.S. budget, which is NASA.
So when you say lunar hoax, do you mean that the moon landing was fake or some shit like that?
Of course.
Okay. And he's still going to try and do the whole hashtag defund NASA thing.
Mm-hmm. On top of his, because he's already got the merchandise of fake X and all that other stuff. So
yeah, why get rid of that? I'm pretty sure those are money.
Why change a losing formula? And I think he's going to go into lunar hoax, and probably dive a little bit into post-COVID hysteria.
DML says Reds might be just what Jaren needs right now. Oh God. It's kind of like that one what was it? That one Geico commercial that was like, "Does a drill sergeant make a terrible therapist?" And they got fucking Arlie Ermy in it.
Well, because with the stuff that he's put out before, his stuff is all all encompassing in the anti-establishment stuff.
Yeah.
And so
of course you can be anti-establishment without being a geometrically illiterate fuck.
Yeah, but at the same time, that one was making him the most money. And but he'll probably go into something else anti-establishment. And and by the way, the reason why I'm presenting this to you, this is Zach's page, and I just thought it was funny that he still has the 2 videos up where he claimed to debunk you. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But no, he'll probably dive into that. Given, like I said, given the priming that he did, the baiting that he did in Chile, when he said that it doesn't mean they're not still lying to us. That told me, it just told me right away, okay, he's just going to aim a little bit away from this one subject, and but still keep going about everything else and selling his swag and all that shit. So
Yeah. Although one of those, the one posted 4 years ago, the biggest problems of the flat Earth, did he also like drop the fucking act or not really?
nah,
No, okay.
I mean most of his shit I never paid attention to. The only time that Zach came on my radar was about the Balaton stuff because I knew he was part of it.
Yeah, if it was a misleading title, so be it. That's just like him.
But that and this right here, this was funny. This was him actually against Jeranism. This was the one where, remember when Jeranism used to make the ever so weak argument about the measuring tool that's used on Google Earth,
Yeah,
and how
the ruler tool.
here's the curve and all that other stuff. And
how
he
like
actually,
curves towards the poles or towards the equator.
right, and
Yeah.
because Jeranism and the people that listened to him were kept on going on about how it's being deliberately deceptive like that. Never really gave a reason for it, but just says it's deceptive because this says 90 degrees coming from Florida, but look, it goes all the way down to Australia or something like that. And and he actually got sick of it. Zach did, and did a whole video about what that surface line actually represents. That surface line does not represent a continuing azimuth. It represents basically a line extending out, a triangle extending from the point of origin, the center of the Earth, and the target. And and he actually put that video out. I was laughing so hard at that because and he actually, what I found so funny was everybody was telling him this shit. And he didn't listen to nobody, but then Zach puts it out, and Zach was pretty popular at the time, so he was just like, well, I guess that's just the way the globe geometry works.
It just works that way, just because. No reason whatsoever. There's not any math behind it because they don't want to, put math and reality in the same context there.
Yeah, but Zach came onto my radar though when he started using CAD. He was the first flat earther to start using CAD, and I was like, oh, well, that's right up my alley because I use it too, and busting out the things that he was doing, like how to track how to track the sun, which was basically use the elevation angle but don't use the azimuth. And sooner or later, those lines are going to cross.
But let me answer this. The thing about me and going on Jeranism's show is that the dude hasn't invited me. Would I be willing to go on Jeranism's show? Yes, I would be willing to do that. I'll let him have all the fucking super chats. That's fine. I don't give a shit. But I doubt he will have me on because I don't think people realize how bad the ass kicking was on his end. When he had that debate against me, dude got wrecked. Okay, Dude got absolutely obliterated. And
Jared, would you like to surrender the rest of your time?
I remember they had to do immediate damage control on Glowbusters. They literally had to do immediate damage control. It was bad. Fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was bad for them. That oh man.
It was like,
That
I've been
debate
preparing
went
for
so
this
bad for him.
moment. And,
Yeah.
oh boy, I'd
That
go for the
debate
fucking
went so
throat.
bad for him.
I
Yeah.
went for the fucking throat. And I think I did too good of a job, because ever since then, he hasn't been too thrilled about speaking to me. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I would be more than happy to go on Jeranism's show. I would be more than happy to catch up with him. That would be nice. He probably wouldn't like it too much, but you know.
I wonder. I'm gonna check something here.
But yeah. I do know he has these call-in things, but the rumor has it that he only allows a limited amount of time. Evan, have you watched any of his more recent content? Maybe you can answer this question for me.
Yeah, so I tuned into the live stream that he did. I want to say it was last week, and you can get in. It's like on StreamYard, but you have to wait like at least an hour, probably like an hour at the very least if you want to be able to talk to him.
An hour?
Yeah, because he lets like 10 people into the backstage, and then like he'll talk to a person, and sometimes he'll talk to them for 5 minutes. Sometimes he'll let them ramble on for like 20 minutes, and then whenever someone gives a super chat, he has to spend like 10 minutes talking about that. So, that's just from the bits that I watched on his on the one he did. I want to say it was last week.
Yeah, I'm not gonna wait a fucking hour to talk to little old him. I really don't care to do that. But yes, to answer your question, I mean, if I got an invite and I didn't have to wait an hour for the privilege, then yeah, I would be more than happy to talk to him. Or he could just show up in my live chat and be like, yo, give me a link, and I'll be like, sure, here you go. And I can set up a new call fairly easily. But I don't think he's willing to talk to me. I honestly don't. I think he's scared. I think he's terrified. Dude got his ass kicked the last time. Why would he want to do that shit again?
Would you like to surrender the rest of your time?
Yeah, since you're not going to provide any evidence for your model.
This was supposed to be the part where you're
presenting evidence for your model.
Was this the one where he spent like the first 10 minutes just talking about like why they would lie instead of talking about like actual evidence?
He basically confirmed what we were all thinking at the time, which is he wants to be something similar to a priest, a religious preacher. So he spent his opening preaching about flat Earth, not necessarily proving it or providing evidence for the model. We need to fight against the establishment. We need to fight against the nameless, faceless they, because they are stealing your tax dollars to fake space and blah, blah, blah.
I'm going through the comments.
In a religious household.
Yeah,
I think he did grow up in the church.
Probably,
so.
But still, it's like, dude, you knew the rules. And for those of you who want the link to that debate, there it is. I posted it in the live chat for you guys.
I'm looking through the comments under his most recent video.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most impressive stage humans have ever built. It's practically the size of an entire continent.
Good. They should rip into him.
Yep.
So this debate was 6 years ago, it says. Let me look at this. So, and it was on Friday the 13th. Oh, yeah, I forgot that little detail.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, this debate was on Friday the 13th. I love it. I love it. It was poetic.
I remember when he even got didn't he complain about the thumbnail, saying that it was supposed to look something malicious against him or something like that.
Yeah, he complained about the thumbnail. I even think he complained against the pinned comment the pinned comment that I pinned. And the pinned comment is a quote from me at the very end of the debate, like literally the last thing I said. You are more than welcome to be wrong on your own time, but until you are able to win a debate like this, I recommend that you shut the fuck up. Mic drop. And by the way, I actually did drop the mic on that, and my microphone did break. The hinge broke on the. It's the same mic. It's the same fucking mic that I'm using right now. This thing has been through some shit, and it's still kicking. But the little pivot thing that the top of the microphone, the little pivot arm thing, yeah, that's broken. I broke the damn pivot on this damn thing for dropping the mic, and now I don't want to get rid of it because that's history right there. I mean, let's ask the question, Evan. If I were to auction off this microphone because of all the history behind it, how much do you think I would be able to get for this? Because this is some history right here.
I mean, it depends on who was interested in buying, but
how much would you pay for it?
I might pay thousands, maybe millions if I really valued it.
Oh,
but
keep
I mean,
talking.
I don't know enough about the whole situation. I mean, obviously I know
it's okay.
I remember the debate, but I mean, it might, depending on who you talk to, it could be worth millions, could be worth thousands.
Keep going. I'm almost there.
I'll give you $10 because I'm sure it's probably pretty good about getting brake dust off my rims.
Oh, okay. but yeah.
Sorry, I had to knock you off that one a little bit.
But you're screen sharing it right now.
Yep.
So yeah, 118,000 views. Damn, I didn't know it got that many. 6 years ago.
Well, it's kind of funny when I put your name in to search. It didn't come up with Red's Rhetoric. It came up with Red's Rhetoric Debate.
Yeah. If you look at the pinned comment, if you look at the pinned comment, you are more than welcome to be wrong on your own time, but until you are able to win a debate like this, I recommend that you shut the fuck up, mic drop. Best debate ending ever. I want to mirror this on Pornhub, but they didn't let me. They said rape isn't allowed. Holy shit.
You always attract the best comments.
Evidence doesn't prove anything, Jeranism. It was at this moment I cut off the video and began screaming internally for the next few hours. I don't have a model that works. Jaren, 2018.
Yep.
Science has never been right. I can't believe you are saying that using a personal computer that is smarter than you. NASA films everything with a GoPro. I did not know GoPro was around in the 70s.
Yep.
Evidence isn't proof. Nothing in history is true. I can't do this. I really can't. Like I said, Jeranism got his ass kicked, not just by me, but also the comments.
I mean, this was a flat Earth anal rape.
This was awful for him, and so, being that I was the one that supplied this internet ass kicking, it's no wonder that he doesn't want to talk to me. He doesn't want a repeat of this shit. He doesn't want a part 2 of this shit. And I kind of understand it. I really do.
No, you know what he doesn't want? Forget all that. You know what he doesn't want? He doesn't want an "I told you so" from Reds.
Yeah. Oh man, it's like hey, hey Jared, how about that 24-hour sun, right? That's right. That's right. Yeah. Oh, you feel that? Ah, do you? Yeah, that's right. Suck it.
And remember, evidence doesn't prove anything.
I just be there in the stream going, yeah, suck it. Oh yeah. Oh god, be such a shit.
But here's an interesting comment that I find echoed a lot in Twitter. And this Jaren guy is supposed to represent Flat Earth. Oh man. Now that in itself is a basically an indictment of all of Flat Earth anyway. But one thing that the people that are coming out on Twitter now, I know you've pretty much abandoned Twitter.
Oh, completely at this point.
The people that are coming out on Twitter, well, I never liked his ass anyway. He's just a grifter and all this other stuff. It's like, come on, man. And then I kind of have a internal debate with other, should I say, Globers about whether or not, I mean, this is just my own opinion, and everybody else is entitled to their own. I don't think anybody owes him any respect for switching back to reality. If you look at Chris Rock, you know, you don't get a cookie for doing the things you're supposed to be doing. The
No, I will always maintain that, you know, even if, you know, even if it doesn't necessarily have to be Jeranism. If any flat earther comes back to reality, they shouldn't really be rewarded for that. They should just be like, yo, about fucking time.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, but I kind of see it a little bit deeper than that. I mean, everybody's, you know, he's talking about the, you know, in that long post or speech or whatever it was that he gave, about, you know, oh, the toxicity of the flat Earth community and stuff like that. Motherfucker, you built that.
Oh yeah,
You were
it
not
was right in front of
arguing
them
one
for 10
little
years.
bit
They
when,
never saw it.
yeah, when people got fucking torn up in your comment sections and stuff like that, you didn't say a word. You know, people were getting, you know, called all kinds of shit left and right, up and down, some really vile and disgusting shit.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but not only did you participate, but you also condoned everybody else doing it and all this. So you have no place to complain or even ward off the shit that you are getting right now from your own community.
I remember when he said such despicable shit like Stephen Hawking was already dead, and that the person that was reported to be Stephen Hawking was just a some poor sap that they're controlling his voice box off site to make him say shit that this other dude who's not Stephen Hawking doesn't really want to say. And it's like the real Stephen Hawking died years ago.
Credit.
The real
I mean,
Stephen Hawking died years ago. This is just some random dude that they're making say shit because they can get away with it because he can't move.
Well, I mean, and on top of that, you know, I mean, I remember the personal attacks, the attacks against. He made one video that was literally titled something. Well, it was titled "Greatest Deceivers of All Time," and it was me, Sean, and Wolfie, and in that, turning around and telling us that we adore and worship baby-eating demons and pedophiles.
Yep.
So my whole thing is, man, your hands are much more dirty than just about everybody else that you let
I
talk
even
to people
said
like
that in the debate. I said him using Stephen Hawking's disability as a springboard for a bunch of cheap jokes shows that he's not kind. He's an asshole. And again, I may be more graphic about it, but I don't hide it. Now, yes, I have a vulgar sense of humor, but the dude is just vulgar.
No.
Like, there's no humor in it. I mean, with him, he used Stephen Hawking's disability as a bunch of cheap jokes. He said that you worshipped baby-eating demons or whatever.
And pedophiles.
Yeah, and pedophiles and stuff like that. It's literally, dude, fuck you at this point. So this is why Jeranism doesn't deserve any respect whatsoever. And he's like, oh, why are you guys being so mean to me? Oh, I told him exactly why. I told him exactly why in that debate.
I mean, if somebody's wrong about something, or somebody does something, you know, a thing wrong, you know, I can offer somebody a bit of, you know, a bit of compassion on that. But when you turn around and basically make your persona all about fucking demonizing anybody who disagrees with you just so you can make a nickel, nah, fuck that.
I think there's one conversation on this channel that you guys can see. I don't remember the name of it or even how far back you have to go to find it. But there
memory
was
losses age. Yeah.
There was one flat earther that I had a conversation with, and it was actually a really good conversation. And at the end of the conversation, he was like, yeah, you convinced me. And I remember this was a while ago because at the time, Fight the Flat Earth and I were friends, and Fight the Flat Earth was on that call.
I remember how speechless you were at the end of that fucking
yeah. You
thing.
remember the conversation?
Yeah, so that shit was funny as hell. I was just like,
we were like, okay,
that
I did
motherfucker
not
just
expect
took
that.
all the wind out of Reds.
Like, I was literally speechless, like, because we went through everything, and usually after we explain all of the all the facts of our measurement and stuff like that. I think we're talking about the space station. And, we just got done explaining everything, and we were ready to have a fucking fight with this guy because it always ends in a fight. They'd be like, well, what about this, or what about that, or what about this bullshit excuse? But this dude, who was a flat earther, didn't do any of that. He just said, yeah, you convinced me. Everything you did was on the up and up. And we were just like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Did somebody actually respond as they should to evidence?
But you see, that's also how you know the difference between. See, I one thing that I say a lot, and I see the ticker is ticking down on the call here, so I'll make this short. There are flat earthers out there, and especially the fucking Twitter flat earthers. Oh my fucking god.
Yep.
There are flat earthers out there who will try and answer questions. No matter what you throw at them, they'll try and answer questions. There are flat earthers out there who will just give the same knee-jerk responses that they always give. And then there's flat earthers who will avoid specific questions. And if you get a flat earther who avoids specific questions, they know first of all, they're not a flat earther. Meaning that they actually do not have any kind of even a hope of a belief in a flat earth, because they are clever enough to know that the questions that they are avoiding are the ones that they will have to answer for, that there is no answer for. And what do you call it? But when you get somebody like that dude in that live stream, it sounded to me like he was a little bit more of somebody who kind of bought in on the story until some shit was, brought a little bit real to him.
Yeah, because, we were, Fight the Flat Earth and we were prepared for a fucking fight on that, but we didn't have to fight him. And it was a legit shock to the system. Like, okay, yeah, your math checks out, the methodology checks out, I see that you actually did this shit, I have nothing against it. You did the thing that you said that you were going to do, and I trust your numbers. The International Space Station is in space. And we were like, what the fuck just happened?
That shit was funny as hell.
I
was literally speaking with somebody else about that after that happened.
That was
and I was just like, I was just like, it's like somebody took the batteries out of Red.
Took the wind out of it. Like,
you just kind of went, well, all right then.
Well, like I was there with an F-22 Raptor, missiles locked, ready to cause some fucking carnage, and then it was like,
and somebody comes up to you and says, you want to get a coffee?
You want to get a coffee? And I was like, but I had missiles. I was supposed to use these. Now?
I have like layers and layers of shit that I was going to go through with you, and you agreed.
It was like, nah, we don't need to do this. You want to get a coffee? Want to just hang out?
Now, of course, had the pandemic already happened, then you probably would have switched to that subject. But
yeah, it was like, it was a legit shock to the system. I was not prepared for that. But that can happen if a person doesn't have their heads up their ass. But a lot of these flat earthers, they do have their heads up their ass, and there's really nothing you could do about it. But that was the one flat earther. That was like, yeah, this shit seems legit. And we were all like, fuck, okay.
All right then.
That was that. Yeah, you remember that hangout. You remember.
Pause for commercial.
Hi, my name is Bradley, and I have mesothelioma.
Oh man, nah, it was that was a funny interaction though.
It was awesome.
It's not on your channel though, is it? It was probably on Non Sequitur.
I don't remember what channel it was. I don't think it was on my channel. It might be. I don't fucking know. It was a while ago. But anyway, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and end this stream. But before we do, I'm going to make 2 announcements. Number 1, I am off of Twitter because fuck that place and their blue ticks. So you can follow me on Blue Sky, the bluest of skies. It is at redsrhetoric.bluesky.social, so please follow me there. I will be posting a lot of cool shit over
And I'm
there.
on there too.
And I also posted recently my capture of Jupiter. I got a 3.5 hour time lapse of Jupiter through the telescope. Fucking awesome. It's beautiful. You should see it, but you know, you have to get on Blue Sky to see it. So get on Blue Sky and follow me. See my shit over there. And secondly, if you want to pass on the message to Jeranism that I'm ready to have another conversation with him, giggity.
Ready for your close up.
Yeah, I'm good for it. If he's ready, I'm ready. But yes, if you can pass on that message, that'd be great. But yes, so yeah, follow me on Blue Sky, and we will go from there. As far as this hangout, I think I'm going to do something different with this. I'll leave it up for about 24 hours, and then after that, I'll make it go unlisted because, you know, the whole clutter thing. Nothing really happened.
Oh my God, what happened to you, man?
I know. Everyone's like, I miss your streams. I miss your stream. The notification didn't work. I'm like, well, blame YouTube. I'm just here shooting the shit. Nothing really happened. So yeah, with that, we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. So Evan, we'll start with you. Say what you gotta say, and then get the fuck out.
All right. Well, thanks guys for having me on. I guess the only thing that I have to say is, in the wake of this whole final experiment thing, I think we've seen that the flat earthers that don't accept the results, they haven't changed their stance. They've shown their true colors over the past, but I guess almost 10 years now. They've said for years, oh, we just need to go to Antarctica. We finally go there, and then they just say it's fake. So we'll never be able to convince them. Of course, we can keep doing flat earth debunking videos because I like learning about stuff, but I think a lot of these flat earthers just are not going to accept the results no matter what they're shown, but that's the way it is.
Yep, exactly. Thank you, Evan. And Sly Sparkane, say what you gotta say and get the fuck out.
Let's see. Final experiment was real. Any claims to the contrary is stupid. Flat Earth is stupid. Flat Earthers are stupid if they continue to believe in Flat Earth after that experiment, because any test results that they would have had before would have led to whatever excuses you're making now. That said, I know a dick named Reds.
Excellent. I do want to say thanks to Slick666 for posting our Blue Sky links. So there you see my Blue Sky and Sly Sparkane's Blue Sky accounts. So go ahead and follow us on Blue Sky. We're posting some awesome shit over there. And even though content uploading will be few and far between on this channel, I do have plans for 2025, and I'll be giving you guys real-time updates on Blue Sky. So go ahead and follow me on Blue Sky. I would appreciate it. So with that, guys, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate all of you. And yeah, with that, have a good night.